The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
If you would have come here when you kept getting messages, the head coach wants to talk to you, and you saying, I'm not ready to talk to him.
I wasn't.
Well, what world do you live in?
I don't see why you gotta be disrespectful, honestly.
Get out of here. Go, you're off the team. You're done. See ya.
I do not understand the logic of having teachers grade assignments and then put those assignments in the grade book when admin is just going to force a teacher to change bad grades or go behind a teacher's back and change the grades anyway.
As Black women, I must attest that we sometimes have that resting bitch face. Get rid of it, because that's going to immediately intimidate a white guy to be like, oh yeah, no, never mind. She's probably not even interested or don't even want to be bothered.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it. Why we not talk? Well, let's.
We live. We live. Yeah.
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, the Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it.
Get your three about all of this kind of stuff, because this time. I got sound. What you mean? My sound coming through?
Okay, maybe.
Oh man, that's crazy.
There we go.
Well, I don't know what's going on with yours. Okay, you're good. We're good.
Yeah, I got you. We in there.
Okay.
We live.
All right.
Many sound options on this thing, but we got it.
It's all good. We figured it out. We figured out how to make it work, as tough as it might have been. With that being said, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Welcome to the first day of December. It's the Christmas season. You see, we got the trees trimmed in the background in some places. You know what I'm saying? It's that time. It's another Friday with your Friday Night Delights. Your host on the most organic conversation on the internet. Up to it, down to it. Let's get down to business. He ain't got no tree up yet. I don't got a tree up yet either. December just started.
I tried to make it visible, but it's not visible. But I don't want to feel left out. Yeah. Tree.
There it is. There it is. Shout out.
We in there. Shout out to the trees.
Yeah, big shout out to the trees. Big shout out to the trees. Okay, I'm done. We done. Not going to go there right now. Not yet. But shout out to all my fellow greenery users out here. With all that being said, though, let's keep this thing rolling, keep this party going. Y'all know how we like to do. We like to get with the intros and talk about what we sipping on tonight and seeing what is on the fella's mind. So without further ado, he's sitting right in the middle of the screen this time. There shouldn't be no discrepancies on where he's at. He right there in the middle. Your boy, our boy, the immovable force, Kev, talk to us, brother. What's good, man?
Listen, ain't no better place to be on a Friday night than in the middle. You feel me?
Hey.
Salutations. All right, so we got a little chill and a little turn up. And again, I spend too much time at Total Wine, so this is the eccentric. I just drink stuff. Eccentric Chardonnay, and you know, it's just fantastic. So we're gonna sip that slow, and y'all know how I am. It's rum all the time, and it ain't rum and coke. It's private stock, so we're private stocked up. And I found a place that has it for the low. So it's probably gonna be private stock for a while. But whatever's in your cup, drink up. As long as it's not Aquafina, we're not judging you because that water is just it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I had the in-laws had Aquafina,
Oh my gosh.
big
Stop it.
damn cases of Aquafina. I was like,
Say
some of
it
them.
ain't so. Say it
My
ain't so.
rather drink New Jersey tap water.
You know what? The Flint special coming at you.
Ha!
Yeah, man.
Oh my
Look, if I'm gonna take a L, I might as well.
man.
I'd rather get it straight from the tap than pay money for a plastic bottle to take me out.
And listen, we grew up on DC tap. It made us
Oh
stronger.
yes we
So
did. Oh yes
this
we
Yes,
did.
we did.
this new
DC
tap ain't
tap and
no
concrete.
yeah.
Yeah, that DC tap water and DC hose water. I mean, that's just what went down when it was 116 degrees outside. That's just
Crack that fire hydrant and get it popping.
you know what I'm saying. It's what it is, man. Shout out to you if you know what we're talking about. You know what it is out there in the comments.
Mm.
Okay, that being said, man, he's trimmed up the tree with Christmas stuff, a dingle bomb, a duple fluff, or whatever they said on the
Okay.
Grinch. He's our boy. He's the inspirational King Rich, and that drink is inspiring by
Yo,
itself,
you
brother.
over there
What's good?
I'm over
smoking
here
it.
making a concoction, okay?
Some bitch was smoking, man.
All
Did you
right,
see
not
that?
really making a concoction because this is already in itself a fine drink. This is the I think I showed it last week. One of the three. This is the Woodinville bourbon whiskey, straight, handmade in Washington State, 90 proof. Yeah, that's what's being sipped on, along with some other things that I'll be probably shooting, like some rum, some tequila, some more rum, some more tequila. But you know what I did though with this drink, what you saw was the cherry wood, right? So I got the cherry wood chips, right? I got that in my smoker here, and I was getting that cherry wood flavor. You know what I'm saying? Oh, going good. Mm, that adds to it. That adds to it very nicely. But how's everybody doing? Hope everybody is fine, like wine and getting better with time. I got this one, a message to my phone today. So I'm going to share this one with you guys. It said, transformation is the process of changing from the inside out. Only Christ can make that change happen. Embrace Christ, and others will see the change in you. And so that kind of correlates to what I've been talking about, and since the beginning of the year, really, be more and making things happen, and the transformation though is it's definitely going to with you. It's going to start from within you. So that's it right there. It's a process. We all know that. So we're here for a good time, not a long time. So you got goals, dreams, things of that nature. Make sure you go through that process. Make sure the transformation happens from the inside first. All right. Don't look outside. Look inside. Fix yourself. All right. But we're here to have a good time. We got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna have a good time. Thanks for being here.
No
You already know
BBLs.
what it is. No BBLs, man. These
Yeah.
BBLs killing y'all. We like them natural,
Real natural.
natural, grade A, prime. Okay,
Thoroughbreds, all natural, which means it comes from nature.
yeah. Woo, nature boy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. All right. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm thoroughly inspired. Shout out. Y'all, let's get down to business, man. There's been a lot of stuff that
What's in your cup?
in who me? Oh, right.
That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, me. Yeah, me. So I have the mystery mug today.
Okay.
The mystery mug.
I have the mystery mug today. All right.
Wake up. That's
There, yeah, that's just what it is, man. It's the daily mantra. Wake up, take ass, repeat. I mean, kick ass, repeat.
That's
Well, I mean, you know,
yeah.
that should be on the
It's,
other side of the cup. Oh,
The other
shit.
side should totally say, "Wake up, take ass, repeat." Put it
consensual.
on the cup. Put it on the shirt. Y'all let us know in the comments if y'all would buy a mug that says "Wake up, take ass, repeat." Y'all just let me know in the comments. Thumbs up if you would buy that mug. All right, look. Let's get down to it, man. Like I said, there's been a whole lot of things that went down over the last 7 days, as always. Big shout out to the comment section because the comments always keeps it live in here. And I definitely want everybody's feedback on some of the stuff we're going to get into tonight. So, like, for example, the first thing we're going to get into is a little bit about what we as a society may or may not be breeding, right? Are we breeding and fostering mediocrity? That's kind of a question. I know a lot of people might say, yeah. There may be some people that say no. We just don't understand what's going on in the world. I got a little bit of source material to share with y'all, and we can kind of banter back and forth on what y'all think. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. You saw in the intro, we're going to talk about the ladies needing to make up their mind. What do y'all want? We're confused. We're confused. Make up your mind. Tell us what you want. Actually, then again, when you tell us what you want, is that really what you want? We're going to ask that question too. All right. And then, like I said, last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about a young black lady who suggests to black women some things that they need to do to land themselves a good, clean, and wholesome white man. Yeah, we're gonna talk about all of that because I know what they would say if I had said those words myself. But with that being said, let's get down to this mediocrity conversation. Before I play the video, Kevin, Rich, let me ask y'all just kind of off the top of your head with no source material, no reference at all. Do you believe? Well, of course, y'all heard the Tom Brady audio when he had the interview with Stephen A. Smith. He talked about there being mediocrity being fostered in the NFL. My question to you is, do you think that it's in the NFL as well as in society? What do y'all think?
Rich, QB.
Yeah, so I'll jump in first. I think mediocrity is definitely plaguing our society. That's my personal opinion. I think that, while, especially in sports, I think they're trying. There's a thin line between trying to take into considerations players, well-being and health and things of that nature. Because you did have, like, headhunters in football, shoot, even in basketball, man. Like I think I said it on the show before. Like, I was short growing up, so you weren't gonna dunk on me. I was gonna dip on you. So I mean, I was gonna take you out. So I think that some rule, they're trying to create rules to protect players, but at the same time, I mean, who's evaluating these rules? Are they past players, or are they just people crunching numbers? I mean, I think that some things, have gotten soft, but at the same time, it's like you definitely want to protect the players. You definitely want to consider their health. Now, specifically in basketball, I'm jumping to basketball because I think about all the acting that goes on, the flops, the trying to get call to go your way. And while I get that's them trying to get that call to go there, that's them trying to think strategically. I think that that is, I'm not going to say that is that mediocrity, but I don't want to see that. I actually don't watch basketball as much as I used to. So that I'll leave basketball and the mediocrity and that to Kev. But you know, watching football, man, I've seen, they let up on some hits just because they don't want to get a flag, even though it might be a good hit, even though it's a hit that would stop them from progressing the ball. It used to be that you don't go across the middle. Speaking as a QB, like I wouldn't throw, in certain areas if I saw like my receiver was gonna get lit up. Like, no, I need my receiver. I need my, well, if it's my tight end, I might still throw it because tight ends are usually yeah, they're a little bit they're definitely bigger. But I mean, and that was part of the game. Thinking, strategically, where should I place the ball? And even as a receiver, some receivers wouldn't dare go across the middle if uh, uh, a Reed or uh, Sean Taylor or if they were back there in the safety position. You bet not. You as a receiver, you're gonna protect yourself. But I see the turn. A lot more receivers, even of a smaller stature, just aren't afraid because they know that their majority of the time they're not going to get hit. So I definitely seen a turn in sports just based on that alone. Scores have definitely been running up, and I don't know if that's correlation between the rules now versus the rules back then. But yeah, man, Kev, what you think?
So yeah, the NBA side, I wouldn't call it mediocrity. I would call it parity. The NBA has seen a lot more parity. It's been harder to repeat as champions on that side because just players in general have more access to like fitness and training and information and analytics. Has teams shooting an insane amount of 3-pointers because 3 points is more than two every day of the week, that kind of thing. But the rules have freed up the game a little bit, so it's a little more attractive to watch. But on that side, there's parity. I think in the college football realm, there's parity because of the transfer portal. Like before the transfer portal, dominant teams were dominant teams for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Now, because the transfer portal just lets them go wherever, whenever. You see players making moves and in lump sums, which can change a team's fortunes overnight. So that part looks a little different. On the educational side, though, the mediocrity is insane. I think of the policies we have in place where even in my county, we have a good faith effort. So if the students make an attempt, they at least have to get a 50. I mean, they could get every question wrong, but if they make an attempt, you got to give them a 50 instead of a 0, even if they got everything wrong. And if you've got a 50, if you've got a 50, it's easy to get to a D, but like that's not really what you earned. So, and a D is passing. So there's a lot that goes into that. Everybody's afraid of parents. Everybody's afraid of kids. I'm not afraid of any of those things, but of course I'm just a teacher. But yeah, it definitely exists at the educational level, which is a scary thought because if you're breeding mediocre students, they're going to turn into mediocre adults, turn into mediocre leaders and so on and so forth. So
Well,
it's
mediocre workers as well, because that bleeds the mediocrity bleeds over into the workforce, where you just working just enough not to get fired, right? So
basically.
and it's kids are always watching. Kids are always watching. So I'm not gonna say that it's like I'm not gonna say it's our generation's fault or maybe it is. Maybe it's the generation before us. Maybe it's our fault. But it's definitely a culture thing where we are trying to find ways to do less but get paid more.
I mean, that's the scammer society, right?
So and the focus is on the money instead of, well, what can I do that positively impacts my community. You know, you don't even have to do the world, just my family. Start
Yeah.
there, like, and not just focusing on this means to an end. But we have to fix that one person at a time. We got to change some mentalities. We got to when people start to talk crazy, we got to challenge that thought process, and so the money's out there. We all know that money's a means to the end, and the money's out there because these corporations have millions of dollars to spend on advertisement and You know, they're paying the YouTubers, they're paying the TikTokers and all of that. And you know, this is no shade or hate. I'm just saying it for what it is. Like, you really have no true talent. Not everyone, but I'm just saying you really have no true talent, but you got a lot of followers. So the companies are gonna put that money out to you because you have the following. I mean, you know, that's like we gotta do better. We gotta do better.
Which, by the way, everybody, if you're here for the first time, subscribe so we can get on some of that, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, we're gonna let the corporation gonna pay the people with the following, and damn it, let's get our following up. You know what I'm saying? You guys said a lot of good things. I'll defer to the end of the clip, but yeah, you guys said a lot of good stuff. So let's take a quick look at mediocrity around the NFL, and let's see if there's some parallels: NFL, college football, teaching, life, etc. Let's take a look.
There's a lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. Yeah. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past.
Why not?
And
why not?
I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was. The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. Mm-hmm. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been.
If you would have come here when you kept getting messages, the head coach wants to talk to you, and you saying, I'm not ready to talk to him.
I wasn't.
Well, what world do you live in?
I don't see why you gotta be disrespectful, honestly.
Get out of here. Go. You're off the team. You're done. See ya.
I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott and guys that impacted the game in a certain way, and every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. You hear coaches complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself? We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're trying to be regulated all the time. Offensive players need to protect themselves. It's not up to the defensive player to protect the offensive player. A defensive player needs to protect himself. I didn't throw the ball to certain areas because I was afraid players were going to get knocked out. Mm-hmm. That's the reality.
Wow.
I didn't.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. Let's make it make sense. I do not understand the logic of having teachers grade assignments and then put those assignments in the grade book when admin is just going to force a teacher to change bad grades or go behind a teacher's back and change the grades anyway. We literally have kids missing a whole quarter from school and showing up the day before grades are due and turning in a boatload of assignments, and they are allowed to pass for the quarter and have not been to school one day at all.
Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss. Let's take a moment to debrief. Let's take a moment to unpack. So I'm not really understanding why they're not telling y'all. Like, we all know that the world is behind, like, you know, globally, like, you know, because of the pandemic and stuff. But I don't understand why they're not stressing to y'all how bad it is. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are... I'm going to just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level. I don't care how you flip it, turn it, swing it, swindle it. They still performing on the 4th grade level. Ain't nobody talking about how they just keep moving, passing them on. They just keep passing them on. I can put as many zeros in this grade book as I want to. They're going to move that child to the 8th grade next year. Ain't nobody talking about that. Why they not talking about that? Why they not telling y'all that y'all... And why don't y'all know that y'all kids not performing on their grade level? Why y'all don't know this? Why y'all don't know? Talk about it. Let's unpack. Because y'all be quick to talk about, oh, the teacher this, the teacher this, it's your job, it's your job. No, y'all, can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss. Let's take a moment to debrief. Job, baby. I just got here 30 days ago. She was performing on the 4th grade level since 4th grade.
See ya.
Because I'm...
See ya. Go. And guess what? We can kick you off the team. So go read your rights about mental health. We can kick you off the team for not showing up. When the head coach has to meet with you and you don't show up for weeks, okay, we can remove you from the team. It's called being a pussy. It's called hiding behind and not showing up to work.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it.
when you have a person who is for sure a narcissist, you have to look and say, who groomed them?
We are sick people. We're working for the future, because working for the present, we ain't making no progress.
Okay, all right. So like I said, we got a lot of things to unpack there. Y'all actually brought up some of that stuff. Kev, of course, you brought up the thing with the teachers. Rich, you brought up the thing about if you were a quarterback, you wouldn't throw it over the middle because strategic. But you don't have to worry too much about that now because now that's a penalty. So I'm gonna go back to my original question. Do y'all believe
when I was a quarterback?
When you was a quarterback, right? All right. So let me just go back to kind of the original question. How do you all believe that all this mediocrity there's a parallel? So in other words, we're treating mediocrity as the standard as opposed to mediocrity being the floor, right? And that's. And okay, good. My man's back, and that I think is something that's messing us up in society. But and I have a few other things to get to with that, but I want to get y'all take on this first. So, yeah, what's your thought, man?
Not one lie was told, but the part that sticks out is the teacher saying, well, why don't the parents know? I give you two answers. One, the parents can't read. They reading at a fourth grade level. So how they going to teach you anything that they can't do themselves? Or
now that's a fact.
Or they don't pay their child no attention. Here I am pouring another glass because they don't pay their child no attention except for sports. So the educational part goes out of the window, But how your child going to sign $100 million contract when they can't read the part that says sign your name here?
We have another. What's that guy? Blindside. That was it. Michael Orr. Have another Michael Orr situation. They turn 37 and be like, I was robbed.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it's insane to me because we are literally seeing that all the time. Like the number of parents who come up and make all kinds of excuses for their children underperforming is ridiculous. Like it's your fault. But like my kid won't get up and go to school. What are you going to do about it? My job is to teach them when they get to school. I can't make them get out the bed. Why? I take their bed. What are you doing as a parent?
It's unfortunate because the parents don't know how to parent. I mean, you actually have to really dig in and figure out what kind of parent you want to be. I mean, these things that I had to do myself. I'm not saying it like I'm all perfect. I'm saying it like these are things I had to do myself. Find out what type of parent I want to be. Do I want to raise my kid exactly like my parents raised me, like exactly to the T, or do I want to, do something different? Is there something better that I could do? Learn. What can I learn to make my parenting better than what I had? I think that the focus has to be on the child in the first place, because I think sometimes that the way that we're set up as a society is like you gotta get money, you gotta work, you gotta get the bag in order to have this way of living. And so the focus is more on work than it is the child. And it's like, hey, I'm gonna put all the responsibility of my child on the teacher. The teacher is now the teacher, the babysitter, the chaperone, the disciplinarian, the you name it. The teacher is that. So it's the breakdown. There's a breakdown in family in our society, in our culture, in this here, USA, and it's not just now. It's been a long time coming. We are the way we are now because of the track record. It's not like it happened overnight,
And I'll say, like, I don't take for granted my role as a teacher. I had a parent stop me yesterday, and it almost made me late to my piano lesson on the way home, and literally told me, and this is the second time I've heard it in my teaching career, that my relationship with their child and the way that I've created a safe space in my classroom has literally healed their child's social anxiety. And so there is a lot of power that we hold as teachers in the classroom. But again, one, that's not our job. Like, that's not our job, so take it when you can get it. But that's not actually our job. And that's a lot of responsibility to place on a person who, you could easily say, oh, well, I never told them to blah, 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 when something happens that all of a sudden you don't like. So, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. But parents they gotta parent. They got a parent. That's it.
Wow. A couple of things to kind of piggyback on that, right? Because it starts at home, but like you said, the parents got to pay attention too. The parents got to know what's going on. They got to be able to, read. A great prophet once said, "If you can't feed your baby, yeah, then don't have a baby, yeah." All right. So you know what I'm saying? That same prophet also once said, and I quote, "You will be always trying. Stop that child from crying." All right. Hustling, scheming, lying. That baby slowly dying. All right. I'm just saying. All right. So, okay. Now that we've quoted the great prophet,
The great prophet.
let me just say that seriously, when it comes to mediocrity is the result of lacking accountability, right?
Yep.
Where you think that whatever you did is good enough. Not doing your best is good enough, but doing whatever you did is good enough. Like whatever you did is your best, and therefore that's good enough. Whatever it was. Even if you totally half-assed, even if you totally quarter-assed, that's supposed to be good enough. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 10% asked it. And that's
I'm feeling for the quarter,
supposed
just
You don't get the
some quarters are
whole.
easier
You
to
don't get
find
the
than others.
half. You get the. Okay.
It's a half of a half of a half.
half of an ass.
Yeah.
But we have nowadays, believe it or not, we have states and colleges that are getting rid of test requirements. So, in other words, you don't have to pass the class or show a mastery of the education that you received anymore. You're just going to graduate. And I think I want to say it was either Oregon or West Virginia. I don't remember which one. But their reasoning for removing test scores was because their black kids weren't passing. So they just removed the requirement for anybody to have to take a test. And I think that is that kind of thinking, which in my opinion, that's racist. I'm sorry. He basically just said that we removed the requirement for testing because the black kids aren't smart enough to pass the test and can't get smart enough to pass the test. So rather than push them to get better or be better, we're saying it's too hard, and being too hard is racist. See, that's the kind of mentality that has seeped into our society and our households. And that's why parents feel that they can walk up to a teacher and demand that a grade gets changed so their kid doesn't have to feel bad about being stupid. So the kid don't have to feel bad about being left back. That's the kind of stuff that's happening. That's on the education side. Now, if it's happening on the education side, I imagine it has to happen on the sports side as well. Which again, we talked about participation trophies for the last 2 or 3 decades, where everybody that participated won something. There was a whole era for that. Well, now those kids that all won something for doing nothing are all adults. And they think
nothing.
Trying to get something for nothing.
Here's what I'll say about that. All right, because so we had our son in soccer, right? It was beginners, right? Everybody got little medallion, great job, you made it through. Now, here's why I was okay with it. It wasn't like they were on teams and competing, They weren't competing for like a championship or anything like that. It was literally beginners. Here's how the sport is played. Here are several techniques. And they had different stations. You go around to the different stations, you're learning the different techniques, the different skills, the different, so it was more like, here's for getting through. It's almost like a certificate, almost, right? Like you pass, you got through it. Boom. I think that's different than everybody that is playing in like a league, and then everybody gets participation when you were competing,
right,
to see who was the best. Like,
we're trying to make everybody feel like a winner, but the only people that should feel like winners are the ones that win.
ones that won.
Yeah.
The winners are the ones that should feel like winners.
And I forget which show it was. It was either Star Search or Apollo, but both of them had kids portions. And that's literally where society like fell to shit, is when either Star Search or Apollo, like a kid lost and they cried and they were like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. No, like let your kid learn early on.
Yeah.
Yes. And even if you
cry,
your may still be somebody better than you, get over it and then try harder and come back better. Like that's a lesson.
Yeah.
Like that's a valuable.
Life's tough, kid. Wear a helmet.
If if there were no negatives, how would you know what a positive is?
You don't appreciate it as much when you don't go through the process.
You're taking away. Trey, you said mediocrity as like the starting point, or like the floor, right? The base, right? But if you take all that away, there is no base. Like I feel like you're just continuously falling down. You're continuously falling down. There is no, you're in space literally. You're floating.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the couple of drinks I've been having, but I thought of Among Us, when they kick you out the game and you're just like,
he's kind of floating in, floating in the ether somewhere.
Yeah, my oldest got my youngest on the Among Us thing, and I don't know. Shout out to
Among Us is actually
play Among Us.
I get down.
So
I get down with Among Us.
But understand what I'm saying is that there is no measuring stick at this point. When you take out when you give everybody an award, you give everybody the props, you give everybody a medallion, a trophy, or whatever it is. How do you get better? You don't.
You don't.
If you're not getting better, then you're getting left behind.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say about tests, though, and Trey, I'm with you. Like,
we can't because you're gonna say what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we can't take the test away altogether. And this is coming from the teacher's perspective. I teach 200 kids like every other day. And in that classroom, I have 4 to 5 different styles of learning. So my only issue with what they consider a standardized test is that it doesn't speak to the way that kids learn. And I'm one of those kids. Like, I struggle with written tests because I'm a kinesthetic learner. I've got to, like, I'm tactile. I have to have my hands on something giggity in order for me to like produce the best product. That's why I'm a piano player. That's why I'm a vocalist. And I'm saying, like, that's why I thrive in the arts, because that's what I gravitate towards. So, like, to give a standardized test to a person who is not like that's not their strength, you won't see the very best of them in that regard. So like I'm not opposed to having these kinds of tests exist, but I think there should be multiple ways to show your mastery of knowledge, in that regard, because that's literally what it is. Like if you only give one style of test to a million different people, the people who don't, that their strength is not in that style, may struggle even if they understand the content. And so I do honor that in my classroom. There are certain students who can show me, and there are certain students who can tell me, but they both know it. They just prove that a different way. So like that's the part that I think is missing from a standardized test.
Well, the only challenge I have with that is when you go on an interview, are you going to have to tell them what you can do or show them?
Some places will give you both of those opportunities, and again, that's literally what I went through. So like and granted, I can talk the talk, but like for an arts-based subject, they really didn't care. They literally put you in a room. They gave you somebody who could not sing. They gave me a dance instructor and said, show me how you would teach them music. And so I
Word,
had to.
but that's not a typical job. What I'm saying is and you're right. I dig that on a different type of job where that is necessary. I think you absolutely should test the skill set. What I'm saying is on in generally speaking, you go on a job interview, they're not, more often than not, they're not asking you to perform a task. They're going to ask you to tell them about your history and what you can do and what you've done. And I
Well,
think
that's
that's
being
the
able to
and
that's being able to communicate effectively, and
Yeah. So I'm not knocking the communication aspect. I'm just saying if you're looking
Mhm.
for the greatest indicator of what somebody can do, the best thing you probably can do is put them in a scenario where they would have to. Like if I
Sure.
want to account what an accountant can do or a prospective accountant can do, I'm going to give them some numbers and a problem and tell them to get me where I want to go with that. I was sitting in Cold Stone and somebody came in and interviewed and they said, all right, well, we're going to put you on the block and see if you can crush ingredients into a, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you go into certain jobs, if you work at Home Depot, you got to be able to lift a certain weight in order to even be able to like have that job because it requires you to lift. So like I think we are going to a point where jobs want to see you actually do a little bit of that, which is a specialty, whether it's, mopping floors or, you know what I'm saying, performing open heart surgery. Like doctors have to do their research, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I think John Hopkins
Right.
is a,
In order
you know
for
what I'm
them
saying?
to pass, they
Right.
have to demonstrate. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to put people in those scenarios, and I think that does give a better chance for somebody who specializes in that way to show what they can do, even if they can't, you know what I'm saying, necessarily recall everything. Once they get their hands on it, they can actually do that.
But I get both of your points, right? So Trey, so even in an interview though, they're asking you of an example in which you were in this situation. So it's gonna really be like in my opinion, right? That's still like an action. It's like I now have to describe the action that I have taken. I have to describe it. So it's kind of twofold. You have to be able to again effectively communicate the action that you would otherwise do. So you definitely got to have that combination of yeah, I can do it, but also I need to be able to verbalize, communicate how, what the example is, how I would do it or how I have done it. So I think it's important to have both. And but when it comes to testing, especially when it's like that standardized, like everybody takes the same way type of test, like that A, B, C, you know, you know, when in doubt, choose C, because whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like that type of testing, I do have a problem with because I'm not a good tester in that regard. I'm not a good tester in that regard. But you put me in an interview and I got to give an example, or I got to you put me in front of somebody that's interviewing me,
You're gonna
and
sell it.
it's it. That's it. I'm gonna get the job. So I think it's different than the standardized testing that I'm thinking about, and maybe Kev's thinking about. That's like, just this straight line, and
read a
some kids,
paragraph.
some people don't, test well, and that has nothing to do with, their skills and abilities, their, knowledge, their what they can bring to the table. I just have a problem with that, and that should be, it should be reevaluated.
I don't necessarily disagree, but what I will say is that a standard is a standard, and if you can't meet the standard, then you don't know the material. Whether your ability to test is irrelevant to whether you know the material, right? So if you know the material, and I give you multiple choice, right? For example, you know that 2 + 2 is 4. So if I give you multiple choice and I say 2 + 2 is A5, B7, C12, D4, you know the answer is D. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Because you know that material. So regardless of whether I give you 4 options or not, you're only going to get tripped up on the 4 options if you don't know the material. And I think that is across the board. Now, don't get me wrong. I was never one that liked tests. I still don't like tests to this day. I get it. But so I hear what you guys are saying. Like, I hear the heart in what y'all are saying. However, the standard is the standard. You either meet the standard or you don't.
So I and that's probably the part for me. So let's go back to undergrad. So shout out to my line brother, Dr. Samuel Springer, who was my piano 1, 2, 3, and 4 teacher. He could sit at the front of the room, and it was our time to practice. And when we're practicing, I'm playing everything exactly how it's supposed to be played. Soon as that man came and sat down next to me, like, just the thought of being judged took a little bit away from my play.
Test anxiety. Yeah.
I'm saying, it's that anxiety, like that knowing that somebody's right over your shoulder. And I mean, even with most of the jobs that we have, your boss, your supervisor, whatever, is not literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, standing over your shoulder while you do your job. They may come check on you periodically, but they're not right on top of you. So that anxiety of knowing you're literally sitting here to judge me, like, can take some stuff away from you. So and I think about that when I test my students. I don't sit anywhere near them when they play, because I know what that felt like when it was happening to me. And even though I'm away from them, they'll still say, because I know you're like judging me, and I've heard them play it perfectly at their seats. But we had that conversation, like, you got to be able to do a little something when the lights are on. But I also know, what I'm saying, what your practice looked like. So there's an opportunity to show both. And we, like, even us as evaluators have to have some level of flexibility, because, like, it'll exist.
I agree. I think for overall grading, sure, because you got a body of work to go off of. But I also think that, performance under pressure, depending on what you're doing, performance under pressure, giggity, is very important.
Listen.
I'm just saying. Even from what he's saying, like, if you're, you may be able to play very, very well, but if you have an ambition, for example, you have a talent, you have an ambition to go play on stage. Well, when you play on stage, the lights are going to be bright, and there's going to be 10,000 people sitting there judging you for every little mistake. So you have to. From a distance or front, 10,000 people judging you, and one person sitting next to you, whether it's a distance or in front, is irrelevant. The pressure is the pressure.
That's very relevant. That's a level of intimacy that, like, somebody right in your face, like, that's a level of intimacy. A crowd that's down on the floor while you're up on the stage, that feels a little different. Because hell, if we're on stage and the lights are bright, you may not even see the crowd. You just know they're there. But when somebody,
I'm saying, if that were true, there wouldn't be a such thing as stage fright. Like, most people get on stage and freeze up, because the thought of that many people looking at you and judging you is enough to make people like we literally had somebody. I remember at Morgan, we literally had somebody in our in one of the pageants we had literally froze in mid question, like literally froze because there was that many people looking at you. So what I'm saying is, if you can't handle one person judging you, you probably won't be able to handle an auditorium worth of people, quote, judging you.
Sometimes I think that's like, whether there's people there or not, they'll still have stage fright because of the thought, because, you've been on stages probably as much as I have, sometimes you can't even see the people out there. You're just thinking that, oh my gosh, I got all these people out there. So, but when it comes to, to those tests, I think there's a difference between having a 10 question test versus a 50 question test versus 100 test. Again,
mentally, for sure.
My only thing on all of these tests is, when's the last time they've actually been reevaluated based on like the reason for still having it the way that it's been for all of these
like why are we asking these questions? That's fair.
Why are we
that's
still
fair.
going through all of this when times have changed, but the education is not changing with the times, the evaluation of it? That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't have a problem with tests per se. It's just the type of test or the evaluation of it, and why we're still doing the same things and expecting, a better result when it hasn't been getting better. That's all I'm saying.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We'll leave that there for the sake of time. But that y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments. It's a layered discussion. So we'll move on, like I said, from there. All right, man, it's time. It's time for some fair or foul. What time we got? Okay, we're making good time. All right, yeah. Time to get down with some fair or foul. We're going to try to answer a few questions today in fair or foul. So one of those questions is, do women need to make up their mind? Do women actually say that they want things that they don't actually want? Yeah, Kev, you already hip. I'm gonna go ahead back to my mystery cup, which for right now has this reds because my whiskey's gone. Let's get down to it. Fair or foul?
Listen, ladies, we got to make up our minds. You either want a good man or you don't. I see a lot of women saying they want a man of God. They want a man that leads. They want a man that covers. They want a man that provides, and they want a man that protects. But then the moment that man begins to tell you, you know what, you're slipping in your parenthood. You can be better here. This is an area. This is a deficit or something.
Single motherhood by choice is going to be an option that more and more Black women consider and even exercise. So anybody that's in their feelings about that can go ahead and start to process right now. Because Black women that have the privilege to embark upon this expensive and oftentimes lengthy process will increasingly decide to forego marriages and partnerships that do not serve us and that are not in our best interests.
Because sometimes we're the weapons that's formed against us to prosper. Sometimes our mouth is causing us not to prosper. Sometimes our ways and how we are is causing us not to prosper.
I've decided to move into another direction.
That's how you feel. I gotta respect it.
And that's all you have to say. If that's how I feel, I'm gonna respect it.
You seem like
you said your one-liner. If that's all you have to say, let's hug and let's just let it go. You ain't trying to fight for nothing.
You seem like you've already made your decision.
It ain't about me already making a decision. You don't have a rebuttal for nothing that I'm saying.
You seem like you've already made your decision.
I wanted you to say something.
I'm
you're not saying
to you speak.
It's not time to listen. It's time to talk.
I went on a first date. And when I opened the door, my man was at my front door. And I was like, oh, like, right? And then he hit me with the Rico. He pulled the flowers out. And I was like, wow, this is different, right? So I'm not even paying attention. I brushed past this, trying to walk down the steps and get to the door, right? Because I'm not paying attention. I'm just so not used to it. And it just hasn't, like, I just didn't have a lot of practice. He opened my car door. I get inside. He closed the door. I immediately went to my group chat. It's weird. Did you say he opened your car door?
High five.
No. Now let me explain, right? Let me explain. By the time we got to the restaurant, my follow-up text was, y'all, that's my bad. I just realized and all that stuff we be talking about, we don't really want it. And I felt like he technically did everything that we be saying we be wanting. In my mind, instinctively, my first thought was he corny. But he really did everything that we want.
All of the things you say you want to be there, you're here for me, you're all about the future and everything. You didn't even fight for a second.
You either want a good man or you don't.
I think I got the car. I'm just daring you to. What?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Because I'll do it.
Not yet.
Okay. Because I'll do
it. Because I know it's coming.
All right.
Here's what's happening.
Go ahead.
Here's what's happening. A lot of people need God in therapy.
He did it. So are we going straight there? Y'all, we want to go straight there.
We can't even have this conversation if we don't go there.
Ooh. Is it?
We can't. I said what I said. We can't have this conversation if we don't go there. But Rich said it, so it's not even on me today. But I got the card.
Well, let's do it then.
Play my theme.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Those are the only two things that are in real life exist. We back. It's time to smooth it out with some God and some therapy. Kev, here we go. LB, this is all your fault. Whatever card he's about to pick, this is all your fault.
All right, so
sound off. Let us know what y'all think. Go ahead, Kev.
All right, so the card for this evening, which I'm going to start here because I got two of them. Consider communication red flags like, is the nature of initial conversations typically quarrelsome and unpleasant? I'm going to say it again. Consider communication red flags like, is the nature of initial conversations typically quarrelsome and unpleasant? And I know this was an internal and group chat conversation, but the woman literally said, like, the man did everything correct, and she jumped in the group chat like he cornered. Like, this dude opened my door for me. Like, if your initial thoughts of him or anybody, because men do stupid stuff with women too, but if your initial thoughts are negative when they're doing things that are positive, that's a red flag. Talk to me.
Go ahead, LB. What you think?
I mean, yeah. I mean, especially in this case, it's like it's a red flag, definitely a red flag, because she's like, well. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say here is that in that case, she said she wanted one thing, and once she got it, she realized she's really for the streets. I mean, no. Here's the thing: if you're for the streets, be for the streets. Okay. Don't talk a good game like you want to be this person
in the house
over here, or this person over there, or this person up above here. If you are for the streets, be for the streets. You better own them streets. You better get
Name
a street in your name. Okay. But with the other clip where the woman said, she pretty much said, I'm done with you. What do you have to say about that? And then she got mad and tried to put it back on him like it's his fault for not trying to fight. You know, again, majority of men are logical. If you say you're done with me, what are we talking about? Like, especially for a woman to say it, it's like, oh, I know you're done. What's there to fight for? I'm not a listen.
It's like, all right, then.
I'm not about to be here begging. Is that what she wanted? Did she want a beggar? Did she want a?
You know, so some of them do,
right? That was the question, right? What do they?
So some of them do want that. So I want to jump to Kev's the question on Kev's card, right? Which Kev, repeat it for me one more time. I just want to make sure I got the proper context of what I'm about to say.
So card 1, because there are 2. Consider communication red flags. Like, is the nature of initial conversations typically quarrelsome and unpleasant?
Okay. So, Proverbs 21 verses 19 through 21.
Preach to us.
It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman.
It's the gospel.
All right. Contentious is an adjective, which means causing or likely to cause an argument.
That's a quarrel.
I repeat, that is a quarrel, but in fact, synonyms are controversial, disputable, debatable, disputed, contended, quarrelsome.
We really in these streets.
So what I'm gonna say again is Proverbs. I didn't say it. The Bible said it. Proverbs 21, verse 19 through 21 says, and I quote, "It is better to dwell in the wilderness than to be with a contentious and an angry woman. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor." I just want to point out that the beginning of all of that is to not be with a contentious, which means argumentative, which means disagreeable, which means quarrelsome, and angry, because probably if they're all those things, they're also angry. I don't know a person that's argumentative but also happy. All right. So a contentious and an angry.
You're definitely not arguing.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't argue with me. I'm not the one that said it. So for me though, but I am one that follows this, and so for me, I remember there's a couple of past relationships that come to mind where. And friend relationships with guys and women that I dated, that where the conversation was always contentious.
Well,
and we got to remove ourselves from those. So I'm going to say remove yourself from that.
Which
that's before I even get into the video. I ain't even gonna get into that part.
Rich brought up the other part that led to my second card. So he said the woman, in a nutshell, was looking to get a reaction out of the man by saying, well, let's just hug and I'll go. Oh, okay. So my second question, how is your love maturing over time? And
that's how.
And that's how I will think back to a point where, and this is heavy on the undergrad, where a woman's actions got a reaction out of me, because that's what she wanted. And now I'm just like, if this is you, all right, cool, peace.
And I'm out.
Because my love maturing over time meant that I loved myself more. And so I'm not going to deal with a person who doesn't feed the love that I have for myself. Because if you're feeding the love that I have for myself, that's going to then protect, provide, and cover you. Like those things go hand in hand. But if there's no peace here, how can I possibly provide, protect, and cover you?
Right.
You preaching better than y'all saying amen.
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't see nearly enough amens in the comments. I need to see all kinds of amens and praying hands in the comments right now.
Hallelujah. Anyhow, okay?
Because that's real.
Yeah.
Because that's real.
Yeah.
So read that card one more time.
How is your love maturing over time?
Look, because the truth is, yeah, my love is maturing to where I love me. I love me more.
Like a whole lot.
A lot more. I care more about me. I'll be fine. I'll be good. I don't, yeah. We talk about sitcoms and like Family Matters and stuff like that a lot. The best way I can sum that up is Steve Urkel's famous line: "I don't have to take this. I'm going home."
Yeah. Here's the thing I think about too, because we find ourselves beating. Well, I'm gonna just say me. I find myself beating myself up sometimes, right? But over time I've learned to really combat that. I'm combating those things, beating myself up. I mean, till this day, I'm still combating that. Like I still think those things, and I'll combat them. And here's what's happening is, I'm loving myself more, because then how can I then be in a place to love my wife? You know what I'm saying?
You married.
You know what I'm saying? How can I then be in a place to love my wife? Because that will, it will be the aura, it will be the atmosphere in the house now. So it's like you gotta love yourself. You gotta learn to love yourself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, how you gonna love your neighbor? How you gonna love your wife? How you gonna love your kids? How you gonna love anybody else? So maturing over time again starts with the transformation from the inside. Like I was saying earlier when we first started this. Okay.
Try guacamole.
From the inside out. Okay.
Full circle. Come on, man. Try guacamole. That's what we talking about here.
But that's where it starts.
Put it on a shirt.
It's so funny that we need to put that on a shirt. For real. We need to get a sponsor, so whenever we say put something on the shirt, they can be listening in, and boom, get that bad boy on the shirt ASAP and get it out.
I got an idea. We're gonna talk at the end. Yeah, that's right. Mastermind meeting.
Listen, we're not greedy. Anybody that can help with that, come on, shoot us a message. Talk to us.
We also aren't wealthy.
We aren't.
We also
that's
are not
okay. Look. There are companies that will do all the legwork for us, and all we got to do is provide the content, and they'll put the product on a shirt for us, ship it out. We ain't got to see it, touch it, anything. Like, there are companies out there. Where are we? Whew. I want to turn into a brainstorm.
This sounds like a conversation from last summer. We're gonna have to have this again for sure.
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I think to kind of wrap it all up. I'm not. First of all, I'm not dealing with nobody's relationship that is not mutually beneficial. I'm straight up. I like to be a provider and a protector and all of that, but I also need peace in my house, right? What did we say last week? Sex, sandwiches, silence, right? Okay. I'm just, ladies, all y'all listen, sex, sandwiches, silence. All right. That is the foundation. That's the floor. Sex, sandwiches, silence. I don't care if y'all looking at the screen like that. I don't care what you think about that. Okay, I'm telling you what men think. Y'all trying to figure out why do men sex, sandwiches, silence? Okay, so we talked about this last week. Silence does not mean don't say a word. It means don't be contentious. It means I value peace in my house. The outside world is quite literally trying to take me out every day. I need peace in my house, and I count on you to provide peace in my house. If you cannot provide peace, if you are contentious, it is better for me to dwell or live in a wilderness or a desert than to be with you.
The gospel.
All right.
The gospel.
Next week, y'all tune in. One of the topics of discussion is what about the dad side of the story? Why daddy left? But what about daddy's side of the story? Don't worry. I know. Some people are kind of like, what? Because we very rarely consider dad's side of the story. Oh yeah. Don't worry. We'll bring that up next week. Next week's gonna be full of God and therapy. So y'all gonna have to make sure you buy at least one additional bottle for just this section.
I got Dex. Make sure you heard me correctly. I got Dex.
That with an E.
With an E.
Well, I mean, yeah, with it.
I wouldn't, because if it was with an I wouldn't put an S behind it.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah,
we have the meats. Arby's.
I'm just saying.
Three of them. 1, 2, 3. Never mind.
We have the meats. I don't know. Rapid fire.
Arby's.
I think. Are we going too far? Have we gone too far? All right. Let's
Not yet.
The next shot.
We're still on here.
Next verify. Hey. So I'm about to say we haven't got canceled yet. Hey, look. Look. This next one is the one, Kev, that you shared from a subscriber. So a subscriber suggested this video for us. So shout out to you, whoever this is. I can't wait to dig into it. And Kev did exactly what he said. He said he would not listen to it, so that his response specifically is organic, on the most organic conversation on the internet. So
yeah, I didn't hear it either. So
let me pour my liquor so I can pay. Yeah,
I only heard it because I put the thing together. But that's a whole other conversation. All right, pour it up.
We live.
Fair or foul, round 2, baby.
Yo, so you want to know the one thing that will actually let you know if a man actually likes you? The one thing that will let you know if a man is actually interested in you? Look, we getting back to the basics on this one, people. You want to know what that one thing is? He will actually call you. I know, it's so revelatory. Oh God, it just blew your mind. But for real, if a man likes you, he's going to call you. If a man is interested in you, he's going to want to talk to you. He's going to call you. Not these guys who are sending text messages all day. Look, if a guy's sending you text messages all day, that's an indicator that you aren't really worth his time. You are convenient for him. Like, he hits you when he can. He doesn't have to be responsive. He doesn't have to initiate very thought-provoking conversations. So he just texts you whenever he can. But a guy who would take out the time to call you and have a conversation with you, that guy really likes you. He's really interested in you. So don't be deceived by these guys who say that they like you, but they never call you. If they say that they like you and they never call you, I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, but they don't like you. At least they don't like you that much.
I'm not frozen. Hold on. I'm gonna this. I'm
Yeah. Come on.
Nope. Don't you?
Come on.
Okay.
I
Let
hate
me get
phone.
real.
All right. Here we
Me.
go.
You.
Come on.
Me.
All right.
Me. Me. Okay. All right. In a perfect world,
Yeah.
under perfect circumstances,
Talk about it.
with perfect dynamics,
Uh-huh.
perfect expenses,
Yeah.
perfect work hours,
Uh-huh.
perfect opportunities,
Yeah.
he would be telling my man lives in a bubble that does not include outside factors, worlds, job descriptions, extracurricular activities, children, responsibilities. Like he's living in a fairy tale world. Okay. If a like, and again, Pete, like you literally would have to subscribe to the person that you're talking about. Like I I don't care who you are. I don't listen. When my mother, God rest her soul, I didn't even like talking to my mother on the phone because I don't have that much to talk about. Like, and I am a vocal teacher. I spend all day talking and singing. So I don't want to talk. Like when the day comes to an end, I don't want to talk. I would rather text because I don't have to use my voice. I got to use my voice all day, every day, including Saturday and Sunday. Because Saturday I'm practicing for Sunday. So like that statement is so blanket that it misses like who you are as an individual. Mel, I will say if a man is interested in you, he will make an effort to like address you, communicate with you, let you know what's going on with him. So he's honest and he's like truthful about, hey, I know you want to blah, 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 blah. This is what's going on with me. That like that level of honesty and back to our previous conversation, communication will prove the point. But like we in 2023 where gas is above $3 and eggnog is costing $8 a half gallon. Like we got to work. Okay. So there's a lot more going on than people just have time to sit around and talk. That's an undergrad conversation. That's not an adult world conversation. Y'all not about to piss me off. Y'all talk. I'm gonna come back. I got more.
Here's what I'm
but
gonna say. Here's what I'm gonna say. Because hold on.
Did you drink? Okay, there we go. Drinks,
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. If his point was when it comes to a serious ask, right? Like, here's an example, right? I was communicating via text or what have you with a young lady, and we had good camaraderie. We knew each other beforehand, but still we reconnected, and we were actually playing on this game, and we were communicating through there. So it's text, really. It's not text, but it's text through the app, whatever, right? And we're just communicating, having keeping in touch, having a good time, to talking with each other and whatnot. And it's like, and I was like, and I vocalized it through text. I said, I really got to take you out. And that young lady proceeded to say, basically, because I don't remember verbatim, but she said, if you really want to take me out, that's not how you ask. And so I had to call. I said, oh, I got the message. I said, boom. I had to call and formally ask her out. All right. That young lady is now my wife. Okay. So I get what I get what he was saying if he means that aspect, right? It's like when it comes to like, first date or whatever, first date, definitely. To me, the first date or the important stuff, you call. Absolutely. But if we're talking about like just calling around the clock, like, come on, man. Like listen, where I work, I can't even really do that and have like reception, or even sometimes if I'm walking around, I can't even be on the phone. So like that is, if he's just talking like normal stuff, like just like, hey, how you doing? Or come on. Come on. That is like, I don't know, what is that, 90s or something? Like
It's
early
quarrelsome.
2000s or
It's quarrelsome.
Quarrelsome.
come on.
It's quarrelsome.
Come on. If he really like you, he gonna call you all the time.
Nah.
He gonna call you every day on the hour. It's giving
Nah.
simp vibes to me.
Nah.
It's given. It's given a lot there, buddy.
I think it really depends, and I think Kev said it best. He'll make the effort to stay in contact with you. That's for sure. You know, and if it's funny. It's funny. Your story with with your wife, Rich. My wife said something similar. I had an achievement, and I got all excited and got drunk, and I was like, I said something like, yeah, you should be my girlfriend or some shit like that, something wild like that. And she was like, yeah, when you sober up and you ask me for real,
There's a
then
proper way, right? Yeah,
there's a proper way
exactly.
to do that. Yeah. And so
There's a proper way to do
which is
things,
totally fine. I respected that. And so
which I get.
In the end, I think it's not. I mean, yeah, yes, guys will definitely want to speak to you. They'll make the effort to stay in communication with you. They'll make the effort to contact you. If they hadn't heard from you all day, they'll reach out and be like, "Hey, just checking on you. I hadn't heard from you today. Seeing how everything going." Something like that. They'll do that from time to time. But there's also a limit, right? Because also most guys, we got stuff to do. I can tell you, I work a hybrid schedule where I'm home a lot, and me and my wife don't talk all day. Right? There's some days where I'm home and we go all day without talking. It's like that sometimes because I got work to do. You know what I'm saying? So, do I make the effort to make sure I connect with her daily? Absolutely. And I think ultimately that's what a man will do is he'll make the effort to connect with you on a regular basis as often as he can. But this notion that he's just gonna call you kind of like, every hour on the hour, if that's what anybody's thinking, and he didn't necessarily say that, but if that's what anybody's thinking, that's not the case. But he will make sure that he fits you into his schedule, that he makes you a priority. And I think ultimately that I think is the heart and the spirit of what the guy was saying. If he cares about you, he's going to make you a priority. Is that fair to say? So if that's what he's saying, I'm saying that's fair.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I like, and again, I think, and of course it's with anything. Like, that's a blanket statement for a wide variety of things because I, as a single man with a kid, like until I have a wife, not a girlfriend, a wife, my kid is my priority. So if my kid could call me right now, I'll shut this laptop, leave y'all, and go see what he needs. And we've talked about, like, y'all see me holding the phone up to my ear, it's because I'm listening to my child sleep. So like, no one takes priority over my son. So we're missing like those kinds of scenarios in a question like this. And so I don't want it to seem like a woman is not important in a man's life, but we got to address all the scenarios because I'm literally living them. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and we all have intriguing scenarios, Rich coming into a scenario where his wife already had a child. Trey, you know what I'm saying? You have a daughter and then you met your wife. Like, so all of those dynamics are interesting. Like, the priorities are based on your circumstances and those are ever evolving. So like, much like I feel like we've all said, like, you don't overthink what's right in front of your face. If I made time for you in a place where I have no time, because like the kind of work we work in literally leaves no time. Like, my school schedule is insane and we in performance season. So like, I'm going from regular school day into rehearsal, from rehearsal into voice lessons and piano lessons. I gotta commute home. I just want a second to think about like what my days look like. I want to decompress for a moment. I still got to see my son to bed. He's got homework. I got to like read the notes that came from his teachers because he's 4 and can't communicate what's going on in his classrooms. Like, so if I make a moment for you, you should appreciate that. And if that's not enough for you, I'm not knocking you, but this ain't this ain't the place for us because you missed what was important in me carving out a moment to let you know what's happening with me. But my scenario is still different from the next man who's different from the next man who's different from the man who has no kids and is just single and literally works a 9 to 5. He punch in at 9, he punch out at 5. He don't have to worry about it. My students are messaging me right now while we on this podcast, asking questions about upcoming performances. So like, it never ends.
That's real. That's real.
He filed for blanketing that statement like that. He's filed for the blanket statement.
I don't think he said specifically what he was trying to say, but I think the heart of what he was trying to say. Yeah, the heart of what he's trying to say that we will
that the man will make an
prioritize
effort.
time. We will make an effort, absolutely. I want to get to this question real quick from Diamond here, right? What would you do if texting wasn't an option? Now, I got to be honest with you. In the year of our Lord 2023, inside of 30 days away from the year of our Lord 2024, I can't imagine a scenario where texting of some kind would not be an option. I really can't. Like, there's
sounds like
actual
she's trying to
text
backtrack
messaging.
to like the 90s or something.
We've been texting since it cost 10 cents a text.
Like early 90s. So
that's a hard.
We had text messaging when I was graduating high school 22 years ago.
But I like
early.
For me, I'm grateful because we have more ways to communicate. Because again, if we're so busy that we can't pick up a phone and texting was not an option, you just don't hear from us. But if I am in the middle of whatever and can slide you a, hey, I hope your day's going okay. Shit is a little hectic around here. Like, at least I carved out that moment in the middle to send you something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like straight up. Like and this is a shameless plug. I'm not getting paid for this promotion, but my wife and I use Marco Polo very often.
Download it.
I'm just saying, right?
Clearly.
Download it. It works. You leave a video message. You say whatever you gotta say. They listen to it. You can listen to it in regular speed or 1 or 2x speed or even 3x speed, right?
3x
listen to it fast and get through it, right? And y'all can communicate throughout the day when you have the option. I'm telling you, from somebody who has been in management for the better part of the last 20 years, that thing right there is a saver right there. That is a relationship saver because we are able to stay in contact with each other throughout the day. And, now for us, if it's important, call me. Right. If it's not that deep, but it's something you want me to be mindful of or, take a listen at when I get a chance, you leave it on there. And that's how we're able to communicate. Sometimes it's 15 minutes where I get back to her. Sometimes it's 7 hours before I get back to her. Sometimes I don't get back to her till I get home. It's like that sometimes, but we're making the effort. And again, back to the heart of what the brother was saying, the effort will be made if you do that. I'm just saying, Marco Polo got too chaotic for me. Now listen, I don't know what you done. I don't know what you done with your Marco Polo. I don't know.
You got a leg. You got a leg behind your head in Marco Polo. What?
Hey man, it's Marco Polo, not Snapchat, right? Snapchat disappeared.
Snapchat disappeared.
Marco Polo archive.
Marco Polo let you archive. I just
Marco Polo archive. Don't do no funny stuff.
But statistics are there. I'm just saying. But like that is kind of the point. Like, and I mean, for the frat brothers, like the reason we're so close is because literally, like, everybody can check into one place.
Yeah.
So like, you don't have to, because it is so time consuming to try to call an individual. Like, even if they're short calls, it's still time consuming to call an individual. When everybody can check in, it's like 15 of us in the same group chat. If everybody can check in the same one, you can hear them when you have time. Like, I can listen to them while I'm working on something at school. I can, you know what I'm saying? So like, it serves its purpose. Like, technology has been a beautiful thing.
It has.
And
It's been a great and terrible thing. No pun intended. No pun
Yeah,
intended. I promise.
yeah. Because I feel like that's a
Look,
test in itself when you call somebody, because you be like having a checklist of all these things that you wanted to say, but when you call them, you're like, you say the one thing, and then they're like, oh, and they got a rebuttal, and then now you're off topic, and now it's like, and then you get to the dead zone, you forgot about the other four things that you wanted to talk about, and it's like that awkward moment when you're home. All right, well, I'll catch up with you later. But because of technology, I send a Marco Polo later, like, oh yeah, guess what? Here's what I wanted to go over real quick, Marco Polo, and then boom, and then they respond. And it's like, all right,
yeah.
bet, I like that.
It's a lifesaver for us long-winded folk. You know what I'm saying? I gotta kind of think through what we trying to say. Yeah, I'm talking about me. All right,
Yeah,
by us I
some of
mean me.
y'all are long-winded, and all I got off was my first topic. I didn't get to my second, third, and fourth, and then y'all just bombard and just take over the conversation, and then LB.
Hell,
Be
even
like that, yo. I'm sorry.
we plan a lot for this show and don't get through half the stuff.
Yeah,
That's
no.
how
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So, a place to like get all of your thoughts out when a person can take in all of the thoughts at a time that's appropriate. Like, and that's another element of this is like everything that people are dealing with. Like, you gotta people gotta be emotionally available because like I don't like conversations that serve no purpose. So like typically when we're talking that, it's heavy stuff. So like the first question is, do you have the capacity at the moment to take in whatever is that heavy? You know what I'm saying? So it's his again, the heart of it, cool. The reality of it,
And you know what? And we've talked about this in previous episodes, but maybe something worth revisiting soon. But yes, do you have the capacity and the bandwidth to hear what I'm trying to say to you right now? And sometimes, I know, my wife and I go through it. The bros in the various the various groups I'm a part of. Maybe that's what Melody meant by it getting chaotic, right? You're getting various groups, and some groups got 700 unread messages, and
True story.
the
yeah. Y'all, look, listen.
I don't even go in there.
I'm with y'all. And you know what? And if I have the time to get back through all 700 of them, I will. But I probably won't. I'll probably skip ahead to more present day because nobody called me specifically to let me know, hey man, something's wrong. Which brings me to this comment, Diamond, that you made, right? Why do people think that? Because people get back at you usually when it's convenient for them. Like texting is almost something. It's impersonal, so it's almost like a respect of your time. Like you might be busy, so I'm gonna text you this. So whenever you see it, respond. Whenever you see it, you know what I mean. It's all good. I'm respectful of your time. I don't know what's going on in your life. A call. I mean, don't get me wrong. For important things, I like to talk with you, but
it's the second
it's
call.
the second call. The second call I know is very
You call
important.
me once and I miss it. You call me again. Oh man, the third call, I'm like, all right, somebody
this is
like,
for real.
this is
What's
it.
up?
The world is ended. Like the third call is like, that's it. Like the second call was like, oh shoot, this is super important. But the third call, oh man, we done.
New. And I think we also have the back to getting to the point of the video. I think we also all have those people that when we see their name come across the phone, it's like, whoa, stop. Hey, what's up? We all have those people where it's like that. But that shouldn't be everybody. You got people who got to respect your time too, right? So I mean that isn't necessarily going to be everybody. Sorry, Snowflake, that might hurt your feelings, but it ain't going to be everybody, and that's okay. That's why, again, what a time to be alive. We got all kind of technology. Yeah, people are trying to program things and replace people with robots, and half the employees at Walmart and Amazon are soon going to be mechanical. Although
they're damn near there now.
They damn near are.
Oh yeah,
Bro, I
man.
went, man, look, Home Depot, bro, they got the whole section. They got the whole self-checkout section. They got like one or two people that just run that whole section, like 10, 12 checkout
Yeah,
lines or whatever.
all
You know
of
what I
them.
mean?
All of them.
It's
Walmart
one.
got that.
Yeah.
You say Walmart the same way. One person actually checking out people on the belt, and then one person monitoring the self checkout.
Yeah. But you know what though? Maintenance probably costs less than salary.
I imagine.
And
Well,
Walmart
maintenance
salary and
doesn't
benefits and then.
and your emotional, because like we just saw, your emotional, feelings and stuff. Computers don't bitch and moan. I'm just
That's
saying. You tell the computer to go do this task for this many hours, and it says, okay.
okay. Okay, Eddie.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not asking for half.
Where are we at now?
But I want half. But first, I want half. That might have been a little racist.
No, that's good comedy. What's the next one?
Is there a difference anymore? Okay, all right, I'm done. We heading out. Rapid fire time. My bad. Meow, meow. It was an odd sound to make here. All right, so I talked about it at the top of the show. We're gonna kind of close it out-ish with this topic because this is very interesting. And Black women, especially, all you beautiful Black ladies in the comments, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this information that you hear. These are tips to Black women on getting a white man. And the tip is to get rid of your resting bitch face and y'all ready? Crack a smile. That is a direct quote. Get rid of that resting bitch face and crack a smile. I just want to say, real
Do I
quick,
duck now or
if I as a guy said that,
I'm gonna put these glasses back on.
Get rid of that resting bitch face and crack a smile. I can't even really. I'm gonna just let her say it.
You gotta play you gotta.
Get fire on these bitches one time, man.
So I want to help my sisters out. A lot of sisters are saying that the white men are intimidated to approach them. Here is my advice to you. Start with your vibe. Your vibe, your aura, your energy, that's going to speak for itself. If you can be that vibe, that aura, that energy, he is definitely going to open his mouth. If not, it's okay for you to extend that vibe and allow things to naturally, organically happen. Be yourself. People are attracted to people that are themselves. If you're trying to be somebody else, it's just not going to work in general. Like, be yourself. As Black women, I must attest that we sometimes have that resting bitch face. Get rid of it, because that's going to immediately intimidate a white guy to be like, oh yeah, no, never mind. She's probably not even interested or don't even want to be bothered. Crack a smile. Crack a smile, a little wink, or, a little flirtatious type of motion or gesture. That is going to get his attention, baby. Do not be afraid to speak first. Say hello. Hello does not hurt anybody. Actually, believe it or not, sometimes a hello can go a long way. You make somebody's day sometimes by just saying hello. Give him a compliment. Believe it or not, men like to be complimented, and that is definitely something that's going to make them open their mouths and extend some interest. Make sure you are whole within yourself, because any man can spot weakness. So make sure you are whole and you are walking in with extreme confidence. Those are a few tips that I hope will help you guys. And trust me, if there's any more tips that anybody got, please drop them below. Comment below on how you got your man, sis, or how your man found you, whatever. Be the part. Play the part. And you will definitely attract what it is that you want to attract. And the biggest thing of all, manifest it, okay?
Manifest you a white man. Manifest you a white man.
So hold on. Wait a minute. Oh my. Was this this was this supposed to be the the for dummies, or what do they call that book for idiots on how to capture you
Yeah,
a
right.
white man or something like? I just want to know, huh? What? 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 I just
what?
Cause so you talk about? Did she say dial it back or something? Like I felt like she was saying dial it back for in order for you to catch a white man. Dial it back for the white. I just I don't even want to say it like, but that's the message that I received. Dial it back for the white man. But huh? What? Oh man. I listen.
I love it. I love it. I'm
Yeah,
here
get
for
to that
all of it.
next one. Get to that next comment because that was the one like all the way.
Because I
Like
I don't understand. I forgot to start the clock. This is the slowest rapid
we
fire ever.
making we making. Oh, Lord.
My bad. We live, damn it.
Yeah,
We
we
live.
all the way live.
Y'all know what time it is. All right. 90 seconds.
Yeah, I can't like it's I think the history of what like black women have had to deal with warrants like the RBF that exists. And but it's going to be a constant like relationship building. When we make black women feel safe in their spaces, and I'm not talking about we as in us, because we don't harass them at gas stations and we don't harass them at metros and subways, and we don't call them a bitch after they decline our asking for their number, but like that's the kind of things that they have to deal with. And to the point where they feel like if I put on my RBF, then I won't be approached. You know what I'm saying? So like this is so much that goes into that we can't like discount that part of it in order to prove this point. So yeah, I'm on the RBF side.
Take a trip to West Virginia. Take a trip to some parts of Tennessee. Take a trip to other parts in the United States or the world. And doesn't matter what color your skin is. It just depends on where you at. You gonna get the same kind of treatment no matter what. So if a guy's gonna cat call you, they gonna cat call you no matter what their skin color is. Okay? Hey mommy, whatever it is, it's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. So for you to say, "Oh, let me give some type of lenience over here because of, the a pigment or something." Like, come on. Like, have you been outside of your city, outside of your county? Like, travel the world. Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't have nothing else to say.
I just think it's hilarious because that's something that, the misogynist black men have been saying to women for the longest time. Like, you ain't gotta be so rough. You could smile a little bit, you could relax a little bit, and they just throw a goddamn fit. But then we start talking about capturing you a white. I ain't got no issue with white people. I really don't. No, like no bullshit. I got no issue with nobody for real. Like certainly not because of your race or your skin complexion. I think that's stupid, straight up. But fuck you if you don't agree with that. I think that's stupid. I think that's stupid. But yeah, it's okay to say that from a black woman talking to other black women on how to capture a white man. I mean, what? So it's okay to do that for a white guy, but not for a black guy. It's misogyny when a black guy says you should do it. She's looking out for her sisters though when she says they should do it for a white man. That's crazy. That's crazy. The hypocrisy is crazy. It's at an all-time high.
Yeah.
To me, whenever somebody says, and Kev's probably going to combat this, but it's okay. because I see it because whenever somebody says, "Oh, I can say ninja, but you can't say ninja," you know, I feel like that's the same kind of deal. It's like, hold on, is what are we talking about? Is the same type of. I feel like this rapid fire is a prime example of that. It's like because of did y'all see the high school student fight where the dude gets in a fight with the girl and he calls
The
her
black
a
girl. Yeah.
ninja and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I didn't hear the ER. I heard the A, but I'm just like still like I feel like that's culture more than racism. You know, because of the way that it was said, because of the way that like it just flowed, like it was natural, like it was culture. And that's a whole nother topic. Y'all need to y'all better be back because we're gonna talk about some other things, okay? We talk about some other things.
So listen, I can accept a bit of that because you said I'm gonna be combative. I am. I can accept a bit of that today, and this is the right day. So like two different things happened. I had a black student tell me today that I saw for the first time. I asked him for his ID because my job is to check the ID of students because we're an open campus. And he literally said to me, "Stop dick eating," and then proceeded to do this in my face for like the next 2 minutes. And like I saw my life and job flash before my eyes because all I saw was red when I told him, "Calm your little ass down." And then he knew to walk away because I was about to beat the shit out that little boy. That's one side of it. The other side was this white kid who hangs around black kids all the time and kept referring to me as bruh and cuz and some more stuff. And like I felt the kind of way about that because like you're ODing. Like in my mind, like you're trying so hard to appropriate black culture that you're now addressing me as a teacher in a way that you would speak to your friends, which is wild because you don't know where the difference is in the line. Like the black kid is just like out of his mind. You are appropriating a culture, and those two things feel like wildly different
What
to
if he
me.
grew up in that culture though?
He ain't.
I'm just playing. I'm asking. I'm asking.
I'm
But what if he did? But what if he did?
If he did, we could have that conversation. But like you can even for white people, and I'm a die on this hill. You can tell the difference between ones who grew up in that culture and ones who are appropriating that culture. Those are vastly different. And today that was vastly different because you're going out of your way to, all right, bro, all right, cuz I'm gonna like it. Sir, I will push you over the railing that you're sitting on trying to skip a class when you know your parents aren't okay with that because your middle name is Chester and you live in a $600,000 home. Stop
Now,
trying to be something you're not.
now, what I will say to that is you can hear it in the like tonation
Your
and
middle
the
name is
inflections
Chester.
and
I'm just
Wait, this is
that's where we are. What are you
Oh
doing?
shit! I'm not on.
we live. So no, but seriously though, because you encounter those people. Because listen, to be honest and to be fair, we do it too. Everybody does it where you're like, you're being a smartass at times, right? So yes, he could very well have been being a smartass in that. All right, bro. All right, cuz So I definitely get that because I've had that done to me before, and I had to give that side out like I will, yo mother, like that.
All the things.
That other side of DC came out of me, like you know what I'm saying. So I get what you're coming. I get where you're coming from, Kev. I do. I get it. I get it. You can tell, like, there's a difference between growing up in that culture and the appropriation of it. Like, especially when you're being sarcastic, being a smart at,
Alec, being a smart
yeah.
Alec.
There we go. I'm trying to get better at like
FTK.
Yeah.
FTK.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we gonna have to. All right, so we're gonna have to try to do a cuss free episode.
Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. For what? For what?
All right, we gotta try a cuss-free episode to see if we can do it.
For what?
FTK.
Cause it'd be fun. If we every time we cuss, we gotta take a
For
shot.
who? This is the
We should
place to let go.
turn that into a
I'm trying
fundraiser.
to turn my RBF
Yeah, that's what I'm
off.
saying, yo, man. Every
Turn that
time
into a
somebody cuss, we gotta take a shot.
Turn my RBF off. What are we talking about?
Oh man.
Yeah, heavy on the FTK. Yeah, heavy on the FTK. Right? It's especially y'all's kids, whoever y'all are. Not them. I know their kids, and not the rest of you kids that I know, but the rest of y'all kids.
Everybody who's tuned into this will smack their kids in the mouth.
Facts. Y'all parents who won't backhand your kids, who won't chop your kid in the neck, y'all the problem. Y'all are the problem. And some of y'all ain't gonna learn. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Some of y'all ain't gonna learn till kids start getting introduced to the pew-pews. We had a kid, little 12-year-old kid up down in DC, I believe it was. 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there. You know, carjacking gone wrong, got introduced to the pew-pew.
And that's
I'm just look. I ain't for nobody kid taking the L like that. But let me tell you something. All right, your kid mess around, get the wrong car. Your kid mess around, get the wrong person. And I fully support the right to carry.
And I'm on the fence with the right to carry, but I'm fully supporting you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So
that's what I'm saying.
Story time. My kid, and he's fantastic. And that's not an exaggeration because everybody thinks their kid is special and they're not. My kid, though, has got the juice like that because he's his father's child. He got in trouble for the first time today. I had to pull up. But when he saw me face to face, he already knew what it was. And I promise you, we're not going to have that issue again. If y'all not putting the fear of God in your child, and me and Trey had this conversation, I subscribe to gentle parenting, but I also put the fear of God in my child. And so he got it today, and we're not going to have that issue no more. I can bank on that. Parents don't be putting the fear of God in their child. If the fear of God is in, this stuff ain't happening.
I mean, it's hard to put something in your child that you ain't got. Hard to put the fear of God in somebody and you ain't got the fear of God. You don't fear God.
Yeah. Get to know yourself.
Yeah. You
Or,
know what?
Or
talk about it. What? Or
if you don't get to know them,
woo. FA.
So all I'm saying is some of y'all need to get control of your kids before they start getting introduced to the pew-pews on the wrong side of the pew-pew.
Man, that just reminds me of Sandra Bullock in Bird Box, where she's telling them they had to be 5, 4, 6, them little kids. And she was like, if you do this, you will die. If you do this, you will die. If you take off your blindfold, you will die. And that was it. She did the rundown. You will die.
It seems extreme, but the world is more extreme. I would rather you get it from me than to learn.
Hello? Say it again.
I would rather you get it from me than to learn the hard way. So I'm going to be over the top extra so that we don't have to address this in the real world. Stop playing.
That's right. Because I'll have mercy on you because you're mine. The world has no mercy on you. It's much better for you to get it from me than for you to get it from the world, man. Because boy, man, listen, the world it'll be worse because the world will pretend that it ain't that bad.
It's worse.
The world will pretend it ain't that bad, but I'm trying to tell you, the OGs tried to tell us when we was young. Now we're approaching OG status approaching OG status. We got to tell the young bloods too.
They said, go home. You're not supposed to be out here. You shouldn't be around this. You don't need to see this. You shouldn't do this.
Straight like that. Straight like that. There's nothing
now
out here for you.
We just dealing with, and I'm gonna call them they niggas, like niggas who is like, hey, I want you to be a part of this. That's the wrong answer. Like, see potential in a child and steer them in the opposite direction.
It's like that kid that has the explicit lyrics. He's like all of 9 years old, and he's got some rap song with all kind of explicit lyrics, talking about giving her all kinds of eggplant and
that's crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. Popping caps and niggas, like just ridiculous talk for somebody who ain't beyond the fourth grade. Like, we talked about performing at a fourth grade level.
Right.
Literally, this person is not beyond.
Doesn't
the
have the
level.
testicular fortitude.
but that's the kind of behavior being pushed. That's what's being pushed on our kids. That's what's being pushed in our society. And there are grown adults that are supporting this behavior. That's why it's important to keep your children away from this kind of stuff. Separate yourself. Get away from it. All right? It's all over. There's a whole lot of stuff in the public school system, and I'm not so much knocking public school in general, but I'm saying there's a whole lot of stuff out there that kids are exposed to that they shouldn't be, that they will expose your kids to. A lot of the things I got exposed to when I was young that I had no business being exposed to, I got exposed to it by another kid. I promise you it wasn't my parents. I promise you it wasn't my parents. That's why you got to be vigilant. Be sober and vigilant. I'm done. I ain't saying nothing else, man. We got to be done, man. It's 11 o'clock. We out of here. All of y'all, man, let's get down to these outros. Kev, how you feeling, my guy? Take us out, brother.
Drunk. What do you mean? How am I feeling? I'm drunk. Okay.
Damn right you drunk.
Like, subscribe, pull up on us. Like, it's every Friday night. We back. We got like 16 more episodes. I'm just saying, if y'all ain't here, what are you really doing with your life? You're a bunch of bums. Pull up on us. We're having the time of our lives. Shout out to everybody who's here. Put something else in your cup. It's early. I don't know.
Listen, glad you guys came on by to have some good talks with us. Good time, good fun. Listen, come on back, bring a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, as my LB would say. Like, subscribe, share, that whole cliche. But listen, again, I'm going to go back to it. That transformation inside starts with you. Start with that inside so that it shines on the outside. Be the light for your community, for the world, man. Just and listen, again, do it for you. Go inside and get that, find that, but let it shine. All right, because the world is waiting for you, and to be a blessing, because you are. We love you. We love you.
Big facts we do, man. Each and every one of y'all. We love y'all. We appreciate you. We thank y'all for spending time with us, spending the evening with us, joining the conversation. Again, if this is your first time and you haven't done this yet already, like and subscribe and share and tell your friends to come check us out, man. Pull up on us, man. Pull up on us, like the brother said. And yeah, man, stay vigilant, man. Just keep your eyes open. Yeah, we're here to have a good time. Absolutely. As always, we're here to have a good time. But stay vigilant, man. As I said the last couple of weeks, and I've been saying it for quite some time, to be honest, there's a war out here. There's a war for you. There's a war for your soul. There's a war for your mind. There's a war for your kids out here. And we got to keep your eyes open, right? So pay attention to what's going on. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, because it's all to trick you. it's all out here to trick you. That's it, man. We out of here. We shutting it down for the night. We did a great job, man. Shout out again. Round of applause to each and every one of y'all. We love you. Take care of yourself. Subscribe. We gonna get at you next Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel. We out.
We out here, baby.
After you and Trevor met up, net worth is $51 million, to which your friend responds, "Bitch, you better secure that bag." Your text, "Need daddy to choke me out," being an absolute whore to try to get in on his $51 million. You say this wasn't a setup. How can you expect anyone to believe that?
Do you have a dad active in your life, brother? Not really. That little boy? He needs one. I trust her explicitly, bro. If she says what she says, then either you're the father or we got another story about immaculate conception, bro.
In the case of 9-month-old Elijah, Jaquan, you are not.
Never ask daddy what. 75% of black fathers are active in their kids' lives. But there's only so much a man gonna tolerate from a woman. Only so much. Then we go with the narrative, oh, your daddy wasn't there. Nobody asked the daddy. Everybody get the story from mom. Nobody ever asked daddy what happened.
For the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, and the Great Interval, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you had a good time tonight. Tune in next week. It's sure to be a crazy night. We'll dig into all the shenanigans next week. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell a friend to follow us. Catch you on the next round.